What if I told you that a man born in a small town in French Upper Volta would grow up to become one of Africa's most iconic leaders? This is the story of Thomas Sankara. On the 21st of December 1949, in the modest town of Yako, a child was born who would one day change the face of his nation. Thomas Sankara, even in his early years, was a beacon of integrity and dedication, traits that would guide him throughout his life. With a thirst for knowledge and an unyielding spirit, Sankara embraced education, immersing himself in the world of books. He was a bright spark, a young mind eager to learn, and it wasn't long before his intellectual prowess started to shine through. But it wasn't just in the realm of academics that Sankara excelled. At a young age, he found his calling in the military. His journey into the armed forces wasn't a matter of chance, but a conscious choice, driven by a deep-rooted desire to serve his people. In the military, Sankara's integrity and dedication didn't go unnoticed. He was an embodiment of discipline and perseverance, qualities that earned him respect among his peers and superiors alike. His journey through the ranks was not a slow climb, but a swift ascent, a testament to his exceptional aptitude and unwavering commitment. Sankara was not just a soldier, he was a leader in the making. His time in the military was not just about honing his tactical skills, but also about understanding the true essence of leadership. It was during these formative years that the seeds of Sankara's revolutionary spirit were sown, setting the stage for his future role as the president of Burkina Faso. But this promising military career was just the beginning for young Sankara. His vision extended far beyond the barracks and drill grounds. His heart was set on transforming the lives of his people, on challenging the status quo, on igniting a revolution. And so, as Sankara stepped into the world of politics, a new chapter began. A promising military career was just the beginning for young Sankara. The true revolution was yet to come. In 1983, with the winds of change sweeping across Burkina Faso, a charismatic and visionary leader emerged, Thomas Sankara. The reins of power fell into his hands through a coup, but not just any coup. This was a coup embraced by the masses, a coup that ushered in an era of hope and transformation. Sankara, a military man with a heart for his people, took the helm of leadership with a clear vision. He had a dream to transform Burkina Faso into a self-reliant nation, a beacon of social justice in a continent riddled with inequality and strife. And this vision was not just a pipe dream. It was a mission that he pursued relentlessly from the moment he assumed the presidency. His first steps were bold, radical even. He initiated sweeping reforms aimed at empowering the ordinary Burkinabe people, at giving them a voice and a stake in their nation's destiny. He tackled corruption head-on, promoted grassroots democracy, and worked to uplift marginalized communities. In the face of entrenched interests and systemic challenges, Sankara stood firm, guided by his unwavering belief in the potential of his people and his country. But his ambition didn't stop at social justice. Sankara knew that for Burkina Faso to truly prosper, it needed to stand on its own 2 feet. He championed the cause of self-reliance, pushing for policies that would make the nation less dependent on foreign aid and more in control of its own resources. He worked to boost agricultural productivity, improve healthcare, and enhance education, with a particular emphasis on empowering women. Sankara was not just a leader, he was a revolutionary, a man who dared to challenge the status quo, to dream of a better future, and to take the necessary steps to make that future a reality. His rise to power marked a turning point in Burkina Faso's history, a moment when the winds of change grew into a formidable gale, shaping a new destiny for the nation. In just a short time, Sankara had already begun to transform Burkina Faso, but he was far from finished. Imagine a leader who prioritizes healthcare, education, and women's rights above all else. This was Thomas Sankara's Burkina Faso. Sankara recognized the potential of his people, the Burkinabe, and set out to unlock it. His government focused on reviving the nation from the ground up, and this started with social and economic reforms. He was a leader who believed in action, and his actions spoke volumes about his commitment to his people. Sankara's administration tackled healthcare head-on. He launched mass vaccination campaigns, reaching far and wide into the heart of Burkina Faso. These campaigns were a lifeline for many, reducing the threat of debilitating diseases and improving the overall health of the nation. Education was another cornerstone of Sankara's reforms. He knew that for Burkina Faso to truly progress, its people needed to be literate and informed. Literacy programs were initiated, reaching out to children and adults alike. These programs were a beacon of hope for many, opening doors to opportunities that were previously unimaginable. Sankara also championed women's rights. He challenged the norms, advocated for gender equality, and encouraged women's participation in politics and decision-making. This was a bold move in a traditionally patriarchal society, signaling a new era of inclusivity and empowerment. Infrastructure projects were also part of Sankara's transformative agenda. He understood the importance of a solid infrastructure in fostering economic growth and improving living standards. Roads, schools, and hospitals were built, breathing new life into communities. At the heart of all these reforms was Sankara's unwavering commitment to combating corruption. He believed in a transparent and accountable government that served the people, not the other way around. He empowered marginalized communities, giving them a voice and a sense of belonging. Sankara's Burkina Faso was a nation on the move, a nation transforming. It was a place where healthcare, education, and women's rights were not just ideals, but realities. It was a place where the people mattered, where every Burkinabe had a role to play in shaping the nation's future. Under Sankara's leadership, Burkina Faso was becoming a beacon of hope and progress in Africa. What does it mean to be a Pan-Africanist? For Thomas Sankara, it meant a united, self-reliant, and prosperous Africa. Thomas Sankara, the charismatic leader of Burkina Faso, was a steadfast advocate of Pan-Africanism, an ideology that emphasizes the shared history, culture, and future of all African nations. His vision was of an Africa that was not merely a collection of individual nations, but a powerful collective entity. He saw the potential in Africa's abundant resources and diverse cultures, and believed that a united Africa could stand strong against external forces that sought to exploit it. Sankara's Pan-African ideals were not just theoretical, he put them into action. As president, he sought to strengthen ties with other African nations, promoting cooperation and mutual support. He believed that by working together, African countries could achieve more than they could individually. His approach was not about dominance or control, but about collective empowerment and shared prosperity. But Sankara's Pan-African vision extended beyond diplomacy and politics. He was a vocal supporter of liberation movements across Africa. He stood up for the oppressed and fought against imperialism and neo-colonialism. He believed that every African nation had the right to self-determination, free from external influence or interference. Sankara's words and actions on the international stage earned him admiration among African leaders and activists. His speeches were passionate and compelling. His message resonated with those who shared his dream of a united and self-reliant Africa. His charisma and conviction won him allies, but it also drew criticism from those who felt threatened by his revolutionary ideas. Sankara's vision of a united Africa free from neo-colonialism resonated with leaders and activists across the continent and beyond. His bold stance against exploitation and his unwavering commitment to African unity made him a symbol of resistance and empowerment. Even today, his legacy continues to inspire those who believe in the transformative potential of visionary leadership and people-centered governance. And his dream of a united, self-reliant, and prosperous Africa remains as relevant and powerful as ever. In 1987, a tragic event shook Burkina Faso and the world. Thomas Sankara, the charismatic leader of the Burkinabe Revolution, was assassinated. The reverberations of this tragedy echoed far beyond the borders of Burkina Faso. It marked the end of an era of visionary leadership, radical reforms, and the audacious dream of a self-reliant, socially just Africa. Yet, it was not the end of Thomas Sankara's influence. In the aftermath of his assassination, the reins of power were seized by his close associate, Blaise Compaoré. The contrast could not have been starker. Where Sankara had rejected corruption and advocated for the empowerment of the marginalized, Compaoré's governance was marked by allegations of corruption and autocracy. But Sankara's ideals could not be silenced. His legacy lived on in the hearts and minds of the Burkinabe people and beyond. Sankara's revolutionary policies had made him a beloved figure among the masses. His focus on improving healthcare, education, women's rights, and agricultural productivity had tangibly improved the lives of his people. His passionate advocacy of Pan-Africanism had resonated across the continent. Sankara was more than just a political leader. He was a symbol of hope, of the possibility of a better, fairer world. His uncompromising dedication to the welfare of the African people and his revolutionary spirit earned him a place in history as Africa's Che Guevara. Today, more than 3 decades after his assassination, Sankara's influence endures. His ideals of self-reliance, grassroots empowerment, and African unity continue to inspire activists and leaders alike. His vision of social justice and people-centered governance serves as a beacon for those striving for a better Africa and a better world. Thomas Sankara may be gone, but his vision of a self-reliant, empowered, and united Africa lives on, inspiring generations to strive for a better future.